Alright guys, welcome to the Chokehold Chat. I'm going to be talking about the upcoming Paris fight night tomorrow. So, basically, it's kind of like a Europe versus the world card from top to bottom. And there's not like a ton of fights that really have any implications or a ton of fighters that really are like household UFC names. So I'll just go to whichever fights I feel like, deserve to be talked about or that I at least have an opinion on. Not that they deserve or whatever, but so the main event, Imavov versus Borralho, is, that's great. It's a great fight. I've been like rooting against Imavov forever. I don't know what it is about him, but he just has like this kind of like arrogance, I guess, this perceived arrogance that I feel about him. So I just root against him, he might be a super cool guy, but I just don't watch anything on him. I remember when Sean Strickland took a fight against him on like a week's notice or whatever, and then like beat him up, and I was like rooting against him. But that's like the last time that I've rooted against him and he's lost. I think he's like got I know he has a bunch of wins in a row now, and he's like clearly like the number one contender, which is wild that they're making him fight again. Because, I think you could just throw him in there with a title shot against Hamzat now, but, I guess a win over the former champ Adesanya doesn't warrant that anymore. A KO win, a TKO win, which is what he got in his last fight. So, the guy's the real deal. He's the truth. Borralho is very good. We know that he's very good. He beat Cannonier in his last fight. Cannonier's stock is a little down now, after kind of being on, the wrong end of a few decisions. But Borralho looked good against him. So I still don't really know what to think of him yet. And we're going to find out, because this is basically a number one contender fight, depending on what happens with RDR and Hernandez, Fluffy. So I feel like if Imavov gets a finish in this one, he probably gets a title shot. I feel like if they both go to decision and it's not a very good fight, then neither of them get a title shot. I don't really have an opinion on who's going to win the fight. There's not really a clear winner in my mind, but very interesting. I will be sat down, and the 12 o'clock start time for the main card on the West Coast is awesome, because I'm going to be chill. I'm just going to be hanging out, watching the fights in the day, and then I'll have the night to myself. So anyways, the co-main event, Ruffy versus Benoit Saint Denis, BSD. I actually think that BSD is probably cooked. I think he's taken a lot of damage in his past couple fights, and Moicano really did a lot of damage on him his last fight. And, I think that the UFC is trying to push Ruffy. But we'll see. Maybe BSD can take him down, and that's his path to victory, though. He needs to take down. I know that BSD likes to slang and bang, but if he starts slanging banging with Ruffy, I don't think it's going to be a good night for him. I think he could get KO'd. So, that's cool. Maybe BSD will get a win and kind of climb back into the conversation, and maybe Ruffy will emerge as a new superstar and somebody to be looking out for at lightweight. So great fight. And then the third fight down is kind of the last fight that I think is, that I have an opinion on. Modestas versus Paul Craig, right? This is Modestas's fight to lose. The UFC is clearly trying to push him. He's on a sneaky little win streak here, And you know what? I've always liked him after he got, you know, his leg broken by Khalil and then went to the regional scene and then got re-signed with the UFC. I root for this guy. And, you know, Paul Craig, we've already seen where his ceiling is. I mean, he's a light heavyweight guard puller that doesn't really have good striking, but can certainly triangle somebody or armbar somebody and just really kill their momentum. You know, he's beat a lot of good guys like that, but clearly not championship caliber or even, you know, top 5. So Modestas is to lose. Hopefully he can get past Paul Craig. Nothing against Paul Craig, it's just, you know, it's more interesting of a division and more interesting if Modestas wins. And then, you know, there's a couple of fights on the lower on the cards that are interesting. Pitbull is getting a prospect to fight, so they're not giving him any easy fights. Poor Pitbull. And then also, I mean, somebody at the UFC hates Reese McKee. They hate him because he's got Hamzat, he's got a bunch of guys that are just super tough, and they just don't. I mean, I know that he's fighting another prospect too. I think the guy's undefeated or something the last time I checked, but it's just like, come on, dude. They never give this guy an easy matchup, poor guy. And then I think the first fight of the night is Bannon, and I just don't think that she's UFC caliber. She won her last fight, kind of, but she almost lost it, is the thing. It was very 50-50 there. So I'm going to keep an eye on that one too. But like, subscribe, comment. I was thinking about drawing pictures for you guys just so you have something to look at other than the Chokehold Chat logo, because I am too dumb to know how to credit people for images and stuff, and I just don't even want to deal with it. So I'm just going to draw some crappy drawings for you guys and, you know, get some reels out there, just something for you to look at. So be on the lookout for that. And I'll see you guys next time with the Paris reactions. And bye.